So YouTube user Nomi has been asking for a female character in a button-up flannel shirt. I went ahead and added that option to the poll and it won. So here is how to draw a female character in a button-up flannel. So I'm starting with guidelines for my female character, and then of course you can view most of this in different tutorials. I have a tutorial for how to do a head and face and eyes and ears and nose and all that good stuff. Although I don't have a tutorial out on how to draw bodies. That's not quite the focus of this tutorial though, so I'm not gonna get too much into it. I draw general shapes like this curved box for the chest. Then on the bottom I do, I don't know, they kind of feel like trapezoids a bit. Not as stiff obviously, but yeah. And then a circle here for one shoulder, another circle here for her other shoulder. And I'm not gonna get too into the posing because I wanna get to the drawing of the actual shirt. But I figured I'd show how I quickly take on the whole constructing the figure, I guess. And then I'm gonna start drawing out the body. So I'm quickly lightening these construction lines and then drawing out the rest of my character. Usually I would have drawn the face by now with the eyes and everything, but kind of want to build this up all at the same time. So I'm curving over for the shoulder, going down for this arm, and then here at this bump, I'm going out and I don't have enough room to do hands, and then just following the same sort of guidelines on this side. And then I have the chest right here, so it makes it easier to fill in. I start from the armpit, kind of going in, and then following the chest shape that I have. Women's bodies tend, not always, but tend to dip in and then come back out for the hips area. And this is a very generic just body type. Not everyone looks like this. I don't even really look like this, so. But that's another cool topic I'll be getting into on how to draw different kind of body types. I've seen somebody ask for how to draw different types of bodies, so that will definitely be something I get into. All right, so I pretty much have the body down. I'm gonna go ahead and start just filling out the face really quick. So I went ahead and I quickly did the eyes, nose, mouth. And like I said, I'm not covering those specifically in this tutorial because I've already done it quite a number of times in previous tutorials, and I have like specific tutorials on how to draw these specific things, which you can check out here on my channel. All right, so I basically have the hair, head, face, all down. So now we're finally getting into the body and the clothing. And so the biggest thing when it comes to drawing anything, I've said this a million times and I'll say it again, references. When you want to draw something specific, look at an image or look at it in real life. So in this case, I'm drawing clothing on a woman, specifically in a flannel shirt. So I have a reference of a woman wearing a flannel shirt in front of me. And basically the way that a flannel shirt falls on the figure is I'm first starting with the collar. So kind of goes around like a necklace, and we have it going like behind her neck, coming down. And then I'm gonna come out over here and pull this line down in order to make the collar of my flannel shirt. So there's one collar, and then repeat on this side for my other collar, or other side of the collar, I should say. And then one side overlapping the other. So I have this middle line here that was part of her body sketch, and I'm having the shirt go over to the side just a little bit because it overlaps. And I'm pulling it down a bit, but I'm gonna stop because I don't want, if I just go straight down, this is gonna be a really stiff shirt, and I don't want that. I wanna show some flow and liveliness. So I'm gonna continue on with doing the shoulder. Sometimes in order to give it some life, I'll perk it up around the shoulder with like a wrinkle right there, you know, a little bump. And then I just basically follow the body on the arm area. So it's coming out a bit because obviously it's not a skin tight kind of shirt. It's got some slack. And I'm gonna assume that the sleeves are rolled up, in which case it'll come out like this for a wrinkle, maybe another wrinkle. And then I'm going over and drawing the beginning of a cuff. That'll then connect to her arm and go around like that. And I kind of repeat that process, having the cuff and then indenting in where it folds over and I create like a material. And I always do this where I do like the outline of the clothing and then I go up. Sometimes I'll erase my arm inside. There we go. And then I go ahead and connect all the inner details. So there's the actual cuff. And then I go back to these wrinkles right here from the outline, and I'm basically just following how the wrinkle would sort of react in the clothing. I'm just bringing that line up. And so if this wrinkle's going up, most likely this wrinkle will be following it. Maybe not exactly. Maybe I'll have it going up a little bit more. I'm not making it as dramatic. Then I have these wrinkles on the side. I don't want them to overlap or anything with the wrinkles that I've already created. So I'm gonna have it going in just a little bit, and that's it. Because we've already got this really powerful wrinkle right here. So if I were to bring this one up, there'd be no sense. It wouldn't make sense. So I'm just bringing it out a little bit. And that is that. And then I'm gonna make a line here for kind of like the garment showing that crease. And then since I do have this wrinkle right here going on, I'm gonna make another line and then I repeat the process on the other side. Maybe not to a T because obviously clothing doesn't have symmetrical properties, I guess you could say. It's not like this arm is gonna be exactly like this one. Doesn't really make sense, but I am following the same idea that I just did. Creases over here and maybe like different creases. So like this one's a little higher and then I'll go down and I'll have another little crease. And then I'm gonna draw the cuff and just exactly the same way that I did the other one. And there we go. And so like I said before, flannel shirts tend to be loose. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sort of follow the body, but I'm really just making it slack a bit. And then I'm going to have it untucked and coming down and swooping in around her hip area. And then I'm gonna do a wrinkle right here on her waist area in the middle. And then I'm gonna have the line kind of just going out to the side a bit. And then another swoop on the hip area. Again, on this side, following the shape of her waist going out, creating a wrinkle on this side. And then going back here, I'm gonna go in and up. There we go. And then buttons. So she has a button here and then just space them out equal distance to each other in a sense. Fix them if you need to. If they look a little wonky, that sometimes happens to me. There we go. And now I want to do details. So I definitely have some wrinkle outlines here, here, and here. So there's going to be some sort of action happening here. So I'm going to draw my line starting here and kind of, I'm not going to go all the way to this area, but I'm kind of making an illusion towards it. And then I'm going to draw another one, and this one's going to connect close to this side, going down a bit. There we go. And then on this side, I may go up like that, may go in on this area. And so we've got a wrinkle right there. So I'm gonna have another line that kind of swoops down like that, and another one. And then just to make it look more realistic, I'm erasing this little area right here. And I'm gonna draw another curved area just to make it look like there's an actual wrinkling happening there. And then there's not much wrinkling going on up here, so I'm gonna add just a small one. There we go. And that's essentially it as far as our sketch goes. I'm not gonna start doing the lines that flannel shirts have. That's not where we're at just yet. Where we are at is inking. So I'm gonna use my kneaded eraser, lighten everything up again, and then I just ink everything in. Okay, so now that I have the face and hair done with inking, I'm gonna go ahead and start inking in the body and the shirt. And I mean, this process is pretty straightforward. I'm just going right over my sketching lines, and that's pretty much it. Just making sure everything is inked in. Okay, so I've got all my inking done, and I'm just going in and erasing all that's left of the sketch. And so I'm gonna make the flannel shirt blue. I'm starting out with a really light color blue. This is frost blue. And I'm pretty much just gonna lay the color all over the shirt. And that's it. And then I'm gonna take this slightly darker blue and draw some thick vertical lines. Not too close together though. We want these to be a bit spaced out. Doing it on the front part. Make sure your lines move with the wrinkles in the fabric, just so that we keep it somewhat realistic looking and like it's actually part of the fabric. Like that. And just go down. There we go. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing really much to it at this point. And then make sure you are doing also horizontal lines. Again, far apart, so that we have room to show off all the other lines that we're going to be creating as well. And make sure you get the collar too. Almost forgot about doing the pattern on the collar. And then I'm going to take an even darker blue, and I'm going to make slightly thinner lines, starting vertical, and I'm going to do another one right next to it. So these ones will run in twos, and just basically make sure you get them in the areas where you don't have like the thick lines. And again, following the little curves of the fabric where the wrinkles are, and then also horizontal and also in twos as well, just going right across. So now I'm adding an even darker blue and just pretty much doing that same thing. I'm just pretty much putting these lines pretty much wherever, as I just try and figure out when I have the look kind of down. And by down, I mean like every few minutes I step away and I'm like, okay, does that look like flannel? Do I need more lines? Because that's basically what it is. And I'm pretty sure after these lines, I would call it done. And for the final touch, I'm adding in purple for actual shading. It goes over well on top of the blue. And I'm just pretty much shading in the creases. And it really helps the shirt actually look like a fabric material. And right now I'm just adding a few more lines in white with my Posca Paint Pen. And this was just sort of a last minute kind of decision. Figured it might look nice, and I think it does. I feel like it kind of breaks up all the chaos in like a good way, because there's just so many lines going back and forth and they're all the same color, so it kind of feels muddied a bit. And I feel like the white helps tame that. And then I'm just really quickly gonna color in the rest of her, just so that I have a finished piece. But I really wanted to focus on all the intricacies of the pattern for the flannel shirt. And yeah, I'm not really going into too much detail with the coloring here, just because it's not completely relevant, like I said, to the overall tutorial. And of course, if you're interested in how to color skin and hair and things like that, I do have tutorials here on that channel for that. And that's pretty much it. I'm just coloring in a bit of a background color just to complement the overall piece. Just something I like to do so that there's not just a lot of boring plain white going on, you know? Just a personal choice. Kind of looks like she's emitting some sort of like energy from her, but I like it. And I'm all done. So thanks to Nomi for the suggestion. I hope this helps you out, and I hope this helps out everyone who voted for it as well. And of course, if you have a tutorial request, leave a comment below, and I may add it to a future poll to be voted on. Until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.